What's up guys, today we're going to be finally going over the Icebreaker, the new dungeon exotic from Vesper's Host. If you played on contest and cleared the dungeon, you got it guaranteed. If not, it's going to be a random drop from the final boss encounter. And this is returning Destiny 1 exotic, and we're going to see how good it is in Destiny 2. I think it's kind of great for reasons you might not think. So first, starting off with the exotic perk, No Backpack. Final blows or assists with any other weapon or ability, the chance to create ammo for Icebreaker. Defeating powerful combatants will create multiple rounds. So we look at how this perk works. Every other red bar kill will create one ammo for Icebreaker. It doesn't matter if it's with a different weapon or ability. Every other red bar equals one ammo. But then every major equals 2. So if there's a lot of majors in activity, you're going to be creating ammo very quickly. And then every ultra, mini boss, boss, champion will be 3. So the whole idea behind Icebreaker is, let's say you use your 10 ammo, which is the max for a boss fight. Then in between doing the mechanics, getting to the next DPS phase, you will get 10 ammo back by killing other things. Then the secondary trait, Icebreaker. Defeating a target with this weapon causes them to explode. Precision final blows or shattering a frozen target instead triggers an ignition. And this is the part that I am personally very excited about, because it turns Icebreaker into a great ad-clear option, along with adding a unique way to increase DPS for this weapon. First off, just any final blow will cause the target to explode. And Icebreaker, with it being a 49 RPM, each bullet hits for a lot, even a body shot. Basically, every red bar in the game, no matter how below light you are, and most majors are going to die from a body shot. And that's going to cause an explosion that does a lot of damage and has a decent radius. So for using this for just general play, you can just kind of body shot red bars off spawn, like when they're spawning in, and it'll just kill everything nearby, almost like chain reaction. But then if you get a precision final blow or you shatter a frozen target, they will ignite, meaning even more damage and a bigger radius. And one, you can do this for ad-clear by just simply getting a headshot final blow, or if you're taking advantage of a great CSS build, for example, the one you see on screen with the new Warlock Exotic and the Bleak Watcher. In Onslaught, I just constantly have every spawn frozen, just simply body shot or headshot one of the ads, and they just all die. Pairing that with how much damage this weapon does per shot versus minors and majors, it really makes Icebreaker surprisingly a great AoE ad-clear weapon. And given the fact that you have infinite ammo with it, you can definitely take advantage of this. And I find myself actually having so much ammo that I'm just like not even caring about my shots. I'm just like sliding around corners, hip firing, and doing stuff like that, and just kind of having fun. And I was really surprised by just how good this feels for just general play in PvE. And you can boost both the shatter and ignition damage with the Facet of Ruin on Prismatic. This fragment will increase the size and damage of shatters, and will increase the radius of ignition, so kind of double dipping with the Icebreaker. But the question is it good for boss damage? So looking at damage on a boss, one bullet hits for 76,000. And then we look at the rate of fire over the 10 shots. This is a 49 RPM, very, very slow, to the point where you have to get used to the rate of fire, because you think you're going to be shooting, but then your shot actually comes like half a second later and you end up moving your aim around. But once you get used to it, the DPS over 10 shots is just under 70,000, and the total damage of the 7 shots is 760,000. So the idea is you go in boss fight, you have your 10 ammo, use it, then next DPS phase you'll have 10 again, over and over again. But now if we go ahead and freeze the target when we shatter them, it'll cause ignition. Also, when a target is frozen, your shot does more damage, along with the ignition and shatter damage. So now the damage of each bullet goes up to 130,000 when you trigger the shatter and ignition. And this is where it gets very complicated for many reasons. With the way that freezing, shattering, and igniting a target is tied to a global cooldown and is not individual, it really comes down to what you're using to freeze the target, how many people are using things like that to freeze the target, how many people are on your fire team, how many people are using Icebreaker. So for examples, the reason this is going to be pretty hard to actually calculate what is going on is, let's say you're on a fire team of 6, everyone using Icebreaker. Well, only one person will be able to shatter and ignite them. So only one of the 6 will be benefiting from the extra damage. And it matters how many people are using the stuff to freeze the target. If you're just using one Bleak Watcher, obviously it's going to take a while to refreeze the target every time. But let's say there's 6 Bleak Watchers down, they're going to be frozen on cooldown as fast as possible. Then it gets even worse. Let's say you're the only one using Icebreaker, and 500 people or even 200 people in your fire team are using other things. Who says you're going to be the one to shatter the target? The main takeaway is generally going to add more DPS and damage to the Icebreaker. The exact amount will vary greatly. Let's say you're solo and just using a Bleak Watcher. If you wait for a target to be frozen first, it's going to be roughly every other bullet will cause the shatter and ignition, which is pretty good. So if we look at that for numbers, the DPS goes up to 93.8 thousand, and total damage of the 10 bullets goes over 1 million. So honestly pretty good for a special weapon. Comparing it to some other things, just a base 90 RPM sniper with a 15% buff, say Vorpal, and looking at the rate of fire of 1 and 2 mags, which means DPS is 84.9, then almost 65, so kind of right in there with the Icebreaker. And finally, looking at the Whisper, which is a power weapon compared to a special, as you might expect, this one be quite a bit higher. And even though Icebreaker technically has infinite total damage, as long as you just keep creating ammo between phases, Whisper generally for a single phase is going to be way higher for total also, with a DPS of 134,000, so obviously quite a bit higher. So overall, Icebreaker may not be like the best weapon for DPS. It's kind of in line with most specials in the game, and will never really be your main weapon for DPS unless the Catalyst is something crazy. I'm not sure if the Catalyst has been leaked or anything like that, but I'm definitely curious to see what that does. But I think for what Icebreaker is trying to do, where it's just, you know, you get your 10 bullets off per damage phase, you'll have 10 again the next damage phase over and over again, or even like in a dungeon boss, I can see where they think you're going to use your 10 bullets, kill the clones, get ammo back, use 10 bullets again, kill clones, use 10 bullets again. Maybe throughout like the entire damage phase of the dungeon boss, you might be able to get off like 30 or 40 shots, which is a interesting concept and probably would work decently. But where I think the Icebreaker really excels is just general play, honestly. I can see myself using Icebreaker all the time on Warlock. It might become my go-to weapon for the Bleak Watcher build, because it's really doing everything I want from an exotic special for general play. It does massive damage to single targets, while also maintaining great AoE accuracy. I mean, what else could you even really ask for from an exotic special? Infinite ammo that can kill champions, kill entire groups of ads just from a single shot, while also adding in decent boss DPS. Overall, in my opinion, it just is a great exotic, one that I'll probably use a lot this season. And is it the best exotic in the game? No. There are so many great exotics you could be using in Destiny 2, and I find myself using like whatever the most recent great thing is, and that is definitely Icebreaker right now with the Bleak Watcher exotic. And I think this will be my build for most of this season. So definitely try out Icebreaker once you get it. It might not be the DPS weapon that we all thought it might be, but I think you're going to like it for reasons you might not expect. Anyways, I think that's be it for the video. There might be some gameplay left. Like usual, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.